about a rotation in order to know exactly what kind of rotation to do. So first of all, we need to know what angle we're going to be rotating it, which in this case, it tells us that we're rotating it 90 degrees. We'll come back to that in a minute. And don't anybody pay attention. I realize I should have like done my nails before doing this activity. So don't look at those too much because they're pretty bad. Okay, now counterclockwise. What direction is counterclockwise? So if I am literally looking at the clock and it's noon, I'm right there at the top. Am I getting ready to rotate to the right or to the left? To the right. It can get, I'm sorry, I meant to the left. Sorry, JK, yeah. No, you guys are right. I was just checking to make sure you were paying attention. And yay, you passed. Good job, good job. Okay, so what can make rotations confusing is that, like if you're starting down here, like at the bottom, it kind of feels like you're rotating to the left instead of, so assume imagine the clock at noon, would you go right or would you go left? Okay, so think about it that way. So counterclockwise, we're rotating in that direction. And this is a part that's new for us. It says about the origin. So we mathematicians like to give 18,000 words for exactly the same crap. About is just the fancy word for around. And where is the origin of the coordinate grid? Where is it, sir?
0, 0.
At 0, 0. So what that means, friends, is that you're going to rotate it around the center. And I just realized I forgot to give you guys straight edges, which is going to be a pain. So here you go. So imagine, if you would, that dot, and I'm horrible about saying coordinate. I had like this old lady teacher that really went off on me one time and was like, you need to speak like a mathematician. Okay. So when I say dot, I'm talking about coordinate, okay? So we are going to imagine that coordinate, which is, yes, baby. Give me a second. Okay, so imagine that coordinate, what coordinate is this? Coordinate what? H, okay? Coordinate H is swinging off of a swing. And because, on a merry-go-round, anybody been to the fair? You know how the middle stays put, right? And you rotate around it? This is the same idea. So everybody take your straight edge and draw a line. So it's kind of like, oh, I did a really crappy job making mine straight. So imagine that point H is like swinging off of a swing. So use your straight edge, give him a swing. Yes, I realize I'm being sexist because I keep saying him. Okay? Give him a swing. And what he's getting ready to do is be like, he's getting ready to swing around the center. So this little clear piece of paper that I just gave you is technically used. Anybody ever gone to Costco and you get a bunch of like hamburger patties? This is actually the paper that you use to separate the hamburger. But it's also good for geometry because it's see-through. So you're going to cover, everybody with me? So you're going to cover the line that you just drew and make yourself a copy of the line and the coordinate. Okay? So make yourself, and if it doesn't have to be perfect, you can tell mine already sucks. And because we're rotating counterclockwise, so that means the opposite direction that a clock goes. And it says that you're going to rotate around the origin. So that means the origin is going to stay put. So what I have a tendency to do is I just put like my pencil right there on the center. And then you rotate your paper around. So you rotate it around. And I know that I've rotated it the right amount when my old line, so see my old swing and my new swing, see how they form a 90-degree angle? Because we know a right angle is 90 degrees, right? So again, I just drew a little swing from my origin to my coordinate. I made myself a copy. And then my H goes, wee. He's swinging around. And how did I know that I'm done? Because the old line and my new line form a 90-degree angle. And then you just kind of pick up the paper and write where he landed. And why did I put that little mark next to H? To show it's not the original. What's the name for not the original?
Pre-image.
Oh, you're so close.
Okay.
Pre is before, so it's not the pre-image, it's the image. Okay? And you were thinking of the word, which I love, you were thinking of prime notation, which is exactly what I wanted to. So, yeah. So your head was in the right place. All right. Now, as you can tell, it's really easy. That's why I'm saying use pencil today. Man, are you going to screw these up? And it's okay. All right? There is a trick to help you, though, so that you can see whether or not you're doing it right. All right? Because there's a pattern in the coordinates when you do rotations. So the ordered pair for my H was -1, +2, right? The coordinate for my H prime was -2 and -2, -1, my bad. What do you notice about the coordinates?
They're opposite. Yeah, they're opposite.
Are they the same numbers? Yeah, they just switched places? Okay.
Well,
So they switched places. And there's like more to the pattern that I'm hoping you guys will kind of figure out. But basically, if you start with a 1 and a 2, you better have a 1 and a 2 in there somewhere, okay? What I'm hoping is that you're going to discover the pattern, because here's why rotations are a pain. Because the pattern is different depending on how much you're rotating. But you can rest assured that if you start out, if your original image, or your pre-image, had a 1 and a 2 in it somewhere, your image had better have a 1 and a 2 in it somewhere. We'll talk about, because obviously the sign of one of them changed, we'll talk about those sign flips, but you can at least know by looking at the numbers, if you have the same digits, you're probably doing it right. But we're going to talk more in depth about the pattern in just a little bit. So you see how skip over to number 4, because number 4 is a counterclockwise rotation, 90 degrees, just like the one we just did. So take a shot at doing that one yourself, please. So draw a little swing. So remember, step 1, you're going to draw a little swing from the origin, because we're still going around for every one of these, the center will be the origin. So give Jay's going for a little swing. He's going to go wee around that origin. So give him a swing to swing off of first. Use your straight edge. Try to do a slightly better job than I did. To give him a swing, I'm going to use a Sharpie because that's probably going to be easier to show up for you guys. Then use your patty paper. Do you need something, Boo? Okay. I'm going to hold my origin still and go wee. Rotate around. How do I know I'm done, friends? How do I know I rotated it enough? There's a 90-degree angle between my original and my copy. So I'm just going to kind of lift up my paper. And that is where my J prime is. So what was the original set of coordinates for my pre-image? What's my Sharpie J? What were those coordinates? Yeah, so 3, 0, right? And then what's the coordinate for J prime? 0, 3. Do we see a pattern there? Do you have the same digits? Do you have a 0 and a 3 in both cases? So you can be pretty sure you probably did it right, okay? We're just shooting for probably right now, friends. This is day one of the hardest one you're going to do transformation-wise. I'm going to be very patient with you. So that's 90 degrees counterclockwise. Let's talk about number 2, which is 180 degrees. So we know that 90 degrees is a right angle, and I know that Miss V taught you this really good last year, really well. Sorry, that was awful grammar. What does a 180 degree angle look like? A straight line. So first, we got to give R a little swing. So I'm going to use my ruler. I'm going to give R something to swing off of. Then I'm going to use my patty paper. And I'm going to make a copy, even though I realize I kind of screwed up my copy. I didn't use my ruler. I didn't follow my own advice, so I made it's not quite straight. We'll see how that affects my answer. So does it matter if it's going to rotate to be 180 degrees, friends? How come it didn't tell me clockwise or counterclockwise?
Because it's just
Yeah, it doesn't matter whether I go that way or whether I go that way. 180 degrees is going to be a straight line. So it doesn't really matter what direction you move in. 180 degrees, either direction, it's going to get you to the same place. So see how my original line and my copy now form a nice straight line? So that's how I know where my R prime is going to go. So what are my coordinates for my regular R?
That's not right off there.
Well, let's see.
It looks one off.
Oh, it is one off. Oh, let's see how yeah, you're totally right. See, this is how you can, see, I told you I suck at this. All right. Well, yeah, now I'm just going to have the wrong answer kind of jacked up there. Okay, so here's how I knew, or I would have figured it out in a second. So -5, -4 were my original coordinates. I put the wrong place here at 5, 5. So I started out with a 5, 4, and I ended up with a 5, 5. So you should know, because I didn't end up with the same digits that I screwed up. I did that on, would you believe me if I said I did that on purpose? No. To make sure that, and yay, you're a big winner, big winner, big winner. Okay, so R did not go there. I told you that was probably going to mess me up when I didn't make my line straight. So there we go. It actually should be like there. So my original was -5, -4, and the correct R prime is 5, 4. I would love it if by the end of the class period you can tell me what the number pattern is for each rotation. If you don't get there today, that's okay, as long as we can just do it. And really, this is such a hands-on skill that this is really just something you gotta kind of do yourself instead of me standing up here doing 1,000 examples. So give your little coordinate a swing to swing off of, make a copy, rotate it around until you form the appropriate angle, and there should be a pattern in the coordinates. Okay, I'm gonna shush and give you guys time to do this.